Hello.
Hi, Soumya.
Welcome back to a new session of the Brain-Based Coaching Certification Feedback given directly by our esteemed participants. BBCC is the NeuroLeadership Institute's flagship coaching program, which is an ICF credentialed Level 1 ACC certification. This neuroscience-derived coaching method was invented 26 years ago and is one of the most loved and respected coaching programs delivered across 24 countries. We boast of a 2,500 alumni in India, with more than 250 member digital coach community, also known as the Coach Tribe. I am Soumya Chatterjee, the director of the NeuroLeadership Institute of India and South Asia. And today we are in a brief and candid conversation with Joel Cardoza, Senior Talent Advisor, Global Talent Management, International Property Consultant headquartered in New York. Welcome, Joel.
Hi, Soumya. Thank you for having me, and I'm really thrilled to be a part of this conversation with you.
We're honored to have you with us.
Thank you.
And basically, I will be asking you some very simple questions, and I would like to have your very candid, responses to them. The idea of these sessions are to help others, make up their mind about the kind of coaching education they would like to get into. So, with that, let me ask you my first question of the day.
Sure.
So, what prompted you to develop yourself as a coach?
This is simple. I think it's the next step, especially when you're in learning and development for so many years. And uh, I've always felt that I've only been advising and mentoring people. I like how coaching is formulated, and the entire course really tells you that people can actually find answers themselves. We don't have to have all the answers for them. Uh, and that's how this whole progression from purely instructional design, facilitation, strategizing for companies, and all of that into another mode where we can actually get leaders and managers and individual contributors, whoever we are speaking to and coaching, to get those insights themselves. And I think that is the magic that coaching brings to the table. And I was very keen on exploring that. And that's what brought me to coaching in the first place.
Wonderful. And yes, it's right. It's a very different way of conversation, as you now realize.
Absolutely.
But that prompts me to my next question. Uh, what made you choose the brain-based coaching method? Because there are many methods out there, for you to choose. What prompted you to do that?
Uh, the main reason, and let me be honest with you, is one of training influencers on LinkedIn. I will refrain from using her name, but she, I believe, is an alumni, and I highly respect her. I highly respect what she brings to the table with her videos and with her insights into how coaching can really turn things around. And so I've been in touch with her, and so I asked her directly as to, okay, you tell me, what do you think? I'm keen on doing this. What should I do? She didn't hesitate. This NLI, just reach out to Neuro Leadership Institute. That's the way to go if you want to do this. And nothing beats brain-based coaching. Also, my ex-boss has also done module 1. So she also had
Okay.
a lot of so a lot of good things to say about the course. And so therefore, that just prompted me. I didn't explore any other option. I just went for the analyze. So no
We are
regrets.
so glad. We are so glad that
Thank
you
you.
did. But interesting that you mentioned this. Uh, Almost 30% of 30 more than 30% people who actually come into the Analyze BBCC program are actually referrals. And you only refer if you like it, right? So
Correct.
so
Absolutely.
that's a huge sign of the quality of the program that we do. But anyway, coming back, so you are from the January 2024 batch. Now it's
That's right.
been 6 months of intense learning, right?
Yes.
In this journey, what changes are you noticing about yourself since you began?
I think this whole approach to coaching, which was brain-based in nature, really gave me a sense, Somen, that we really don't understand the human brain as much as we should. And how much that really impacts our daily conversations and our daily interactions with people, and especially at work. it becomes so easy to just say, I am just going to do, this is the work, we need to get it done, and this is how you do it. And we expect people to just deliver, not realizing that they don't just bring their work selves, but they bring their whole selves to work. And therefore, it's so important to really understand where they're at. One of the things that I loved about the coaching sessions that we start with in brain-based coaching is about clearing the space, right? And it you never realize that, oh my God, I mean, so insightful. Just doing that can really get center someone and get someone to really focus on what we have to have a conversation on. And I think that really changed things for me. Apart from that, I've stopped advising and I've started asking questions more. And I think if I don't do that, then I've failed in really taking coaching seriously and implementing it in the right manner. So yes, I think these are the two major changes that I find. This whole paradigm shift about understanding that you bring your whole self, and also this aspect of asking questions rather than keep talking.
It's a great perspective, Joel, because as you know, that today our human brain is possibly busier and noisier than ever before. And whether it's your thinking brain, your emotional centers, your everything is bombarded today with one thing after another. And no matter how good a leader you are, if you're unable to clear the space and help people quieten down, in the brain, that noise that is disturbing us all, and you can't have any meaningful conversation. So I think you picked up a very important point, and I'm very glad that you did. So coming back to the basic question is, from a holistic perspective, now BBCC program has got multiple parts. It's got a lot of content. It's got asynchronous learning. It's got a LMS portal. I mean, there's a bunch of things out there, right? As a
Yeah.
program design, what are the one or two things that stand out for you?
So in terms of the LMS portal, I felt it was very, very interactive. I loved the fact that I could earn points, and so that made it more competitive. So you're constantly competing with yourself, and that childlike thrill that you get from getting marks, doesn't go away however old you get. So that aspect of the LMS I really loved. I loved the content, really insightful, interesting, well researched. The amount of content that I got from both our trainers, that in itself was also amazing. Like the number of books, I suddenly had a pile of books on my table. I always do. I read a lot. You can see that bookcase that's blurred over there. It's filled with books. But I was never into a lot of what you call self-help books. But since I've learned coaching, I'm constantly looking at, okay, how do we incorporate the coaching habit? How do you master the game? How do you get assertiveness into the conversation? And all of those reading materials that they've shared with us, I think that really was another game changer for me. Um, but let me also tell you that, I mean, if I had to speak about our trainers in the session, I will refrain from again taking names, but they were fantastic. I mean, I cannot begin to tell you how engaged they kept us. And so, if you say Jan to now, it didn't feel, every Friday sitting in the session with them, it didn't feel like it was a lot. So it really, really made a big difference to me.
And that's interesting because I've always been intrigued by, and I keep asking this question in every session, and I'm going to ask you again.
Yeah.
It's a completely virtual journey. Over 6+ months. A lot of people get very worried that how will you be engaged in a journey that long for completely 100% virtual. Given the amount of resources, and you mentioned resources, I think BBCC is possibly one of the most resource-rich programs that are available.
I agree.
So, how was your virtual experience?
Seamless. Just also you have this wonderful staff that actually supports this entire ecosystem that you have.
Program
uh,
office is,
yes,
I think, yeah,
fantastic. I
okay.
mean, they were just so on top of things, and so therefore I never felt struggling to log in, struggling to this, struggling to hear. Unless you have a problem with your internet at home, I didn't I mean, I didn't sense, or I didn't get any issues from the NLI bits, right? So you had your game there, and you all were on top of your game. Um, but again, with the virtual thing, you just cannot control um, internet bandwidth and things like that, right? But very rarely that happened, and if it did, it's mostly because if I'm based in Mumbai, for example, the rains can cause a lot of havoc. But overall, it really was a seamless experience. And also personally, I'm not averse to virtual learning. I work hybrid, so I have to believe that hybrid works, and it does. It depends on the trainer. And therefore, the reason why I mentioned the trainers when you asked me that question earlier was because of the fact that they really knew how to hold our attention.
So true,
They
so
didn't lose
true.
it, and yeah,
Very true,
that made
very
a big
true. And I'm
difference.
so glad that you had a seamless and good experience. And
Very
I'll
good
take back
experience.
your good wishes back to the program team. They
Please
do
do.
a hard job, and they've been doing this for 10 years in India. So yeah, I'm so glad to hear those compliments. My last question of the day today. What next for Joel as a coach?
So I loved the fact that you all connected us to those mentors, right? And I spoke to one of our mentors. Uh, uh, she was fantastic, and the insights that she brought to my thought process. Suddenly, I was like, okay, you know what? There's more to this than just learning coaching as a way of supplementing what you do at work. Um, I also decided I'm going to try and bring this into my conversations with people. Uh, as L&D and as talent development and in talent management, you typically tend to get into a lot of answering questions, thinking, oh, what could be the answer to that? He's asking me a question. Now, obviously, they expect me to know the answer. And that pressure has been taken off. So I feel much less stressed now. I know that, okay, fine. If I don't have an answer, I can ask them a coaching question. Not to, as human beings, you can't have the answers to everything. And so, therefore, that it made me realize that I don't have to be perfect, and I can bring a lot more to the table than just at work. Even in life, I coach children, so I teach music, and I've been doing it for almost 30 years now. And one of the things that you do with children is you tell. But the generation that we work with currently is not a generation that is always very open to. Because there's so much of information they're already getting, you're just adding to the noise. And so therefore sometimes just asking them to stop and then think by asking the right questions, really, I mean the changes that I've seen in some of them who come from troubled families, they come from economic backward backgrounds, and therefore those changes that I've been able to see in those conversations that I'm having with them now, because I don't just teach music. I also, I mean, they really, I mean, they, I don't know. I don't have kids, so they are like my kids, and yes, it's interesting what I'm able to do with this skill, and so therefore then
Wonderful, wonderful.
yeah, I'm grateful that that I was able to do it with you folks, and I'm just glad that I was able to complete the course successfully.
Thank you, Joel. We are connected for life. Coaching is a lifelong romance. Okay, as you are already beginning to realize, and NLI is always there. So, welcome and best wishes for your journey forward. Okay. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much for today, for the time you've
Thank you
given to
so
us.
much.
Take
Yes,
care. Bye
yes.
bye.
It was lovely speaking to you. Take care.
Thank you.